This is Mike Cerini of this edition of Meet Your Counsel, and today we are at East Dearborn on Michigan Avenue at Green Brain Comics, and we're joined with Saladin. Saladin, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So a lot of stuff in the news. Big thing about a Dearborn person. Now, you're a Fortson grad like myself.
I am, yes, yeah.
Okay, a Dearborn guy through and through.
Yeah.
So
Born and raised.
Excellent. So you are a writer, and a lot of the people were amazed about this new character and through Marvel. Why don't you give us some idea of what it is, since you're the one that wrote them?
Sure. So the new character, Marvel's newest superhero, is Fadi Fadlallah, who is from Dearborn. I grew up here, and I've been writing a lot of different things over the years, but in the past few years I've been writing for Marvel Comics, and I wanted to create a character that shared some things from my background, the people I grew up with, and so debuting in the Magnificent Ms. Marvel comic is going to be this new character, and he's a magical character who's a sort of big, gentle giant guy, and
We have a lot of those in Dearborn.
yeah,
big guys, but they're really soft at heart.
It's really very true, and
true.
it's not always the kind of image of an Arab or Muslim guy that you see in the media, and so I kind of wanted to try and show that side of us.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. You're right, and that does help. And I know that this too, for someone that's have a little bit of experience in the comic aspect, Marvel, I mean, is known all over the world. So how big is this to have somebody from Dearborn like yourself as a writer? And this is like, I seen it on CNN, I seen it everywhere.
Yeah, it was a big deal to me when Marvel came to me. You know, I grew up reading Marvel comics. I went on to watch the movies, and it's become a kind of world mythology. So when they came to me and said, "Hey, do you want to work for us writing this comic?" and I started to build a career there, I knew that one of the things that I wanted to do was to take that platform where people all over the world see these characters, and put somebody from Dearborn who's a Fadlallah, from that kind of name and face, and put that kind of name and face on a bigger stage.
That's incredible. So a lot of people don't know, Saladin, how the writer versus the artist, how much input do you have on what the character appears like? Because you're writing the story and who he is, right? But how about the appearance of him? How much do you get to play into?
Yeah, well, so when I came up with the concept of the character, his powers are based on the Nazar, the little amulet, the evil eye amulet, So I wanted an artist who would understand the significance of that and would be able. So I worked with a young Arab American woman artist, Sarah Alfaga, who's a Jordanian American artist, and she came up with this fantastic design for the character, and it's a collaboration, it's a partnership always in comics with the writer and the artist. So
Saladin, the character had some background in like an athletic field or sports field. How did you come up with that?
Yeah, well, he's from a background very familiar to us with kind of Fortson football background. The character's backstory, which we'll get into a little bit in the comics, is that he hurt somebody playing, and he's kind of become anxious about hurting people. And I kind of wanted to take the jock stereotype and turn it on its head and sort of mess with that. Which we get a lot of sort of scientists and nerds in superhero comics, but we don't have a lot of athletes, and so
that's true.
So he's kind of taken that role.
Well, that's something different. I hope that takes really well.
Thanks.
Let me ask you something. How important, I mean, being as an Arab American and Dearborn and where you came from and everything, people like to just say, hey, Dearborn this and Dearborn that, and it's always trying to break the stereotype. And as you know, as we talked before, you went to high school with my brother, the one that's in the military and stuff. So it's always important to show and highlight such of the good things. Do you feel like a little sense of responsibility to the community yourself, that you want to highlight what the true community and what a true person is that is coming from the city?
I do. It's funny because writers, we always sort of like, as soon as you tell us what to do, we don't like it. So as soon as somebody says to me, "Oh, you have this responsibility," no, get that out of here.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, for myself, and my dad, is involved in founding Access here in the city, and I was raised with that kind of sense of responsibility, so I think I do try and bring it over in my writing.
Absolutely. Well, that's incredible. I mean, it always makes for the story when you have that connection, it just flows better, doesn't it? I mean, it really makes a difference. It makes it easier in most parts.
I think so. Yeah.
All right, so Saladin, being this thing was blown up all over and you having the signing. How's it been? How's been the reception with the people coming in, and have they asked you any? What's like the craziest thing they've asked you?
It's not so much craziness as it is enthusiasm, you know, and I love it. I've done signings. I do New York Comic Con every year. I've done signings in the Middle East and signings in all over in California, wherever. And it's always a thrilling experience to meet fans. But when I do an event here in the Detroit area, or in Dearborn specifically, it's a whole nother level in terms of people feeling like, you know, I'm one of their own, and I always love that reception.
This was great to have you. I can't thank you enough for breaking a stereotype, showing and highlighting the community. It means a lot to us, and I wish you the best success out there. I really do.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No, my pleasure. This is Mike Cerini of this edition of Meet Your Counsel.